Flora Arca Mata helped pave the way for Asian Americans in education.
She really helped a lot of the administrators that went on to become principals and administrators for Stockton Unified, and even not in Stockton, but Sacramento also.
Eddie Mata is Flora Arca Mata's son. He said he didn't realize the impact she had until he got older.
Her first class are in their 80s right now, and a lot of those became professionals, teachers, doctors, lawyers, and over the years, they would see her.
He said his mom gave kids hope for their future.
I grew up in South Stockton. It was a tough neighborhood, and she would always just say, "Oh, you're going to become a principal, you're going to become a super." And the funny thing is, a lot of them did.
Flora was born in 1917. She was originally from Hawaii and moved to Stockton as a child and lived in Stockton's Little Manila. Historians consider Stockton having one of the largest populations of Filipinos in the U.S. in the early to mid-1900s. After the U.S. took the Philippines as a colony, many came here searching for an opportunity, such as a job or a college education. At the time, her family says it was difficult to go to college because of the cost. Flora's sister received a full-ride scholarship to Stanford, but instead worked in the fields to put her younger siblings through college like Flora. At UCLA, Flora was one of the few women in her class, and it's where she met her husband, Vidal Mata. She was the first Filipino-American woman to graduate from UCLA. The Filipino-American National Historical Museum in Stockton said it was difficult for some Filipino-Americans to be considered for professional jobs, and many ended up working in agriculture and service line of work.
Then they couldn't find a job here in Stockton or anywhere really, even in LA.
Flora and her husband decided to move to the Philippines in the late 1930s to get teaching jobs and stayed there until the end of World War II. They moved back to Stockton in 1947. However, getting a teaching job was not easy.
She talked about some of the hard times that but she always talked about it in a positive way. Like when she went to the interview, she got there, she said, "Oh, you're Asian Pacific Islander." And then the first thing the lady said was, "You speak very good English," like that. And my mom said, "Oh, yeah." And she would smile and she would laugh about it. She said, these are the things. She didn't call it a prejudice she just said, these are things that you have to not even overcome. She said, you just have to move on with that.
Her son says she always remained positive throughout her career, no matter what she faced. Teaching was her passion, and she taught until she could no longer drive.
She taught till she was 81.
In her decades of teaching, not only did she influence her community, her students and fellow Asian Americans to become educators, but also her family. Many of them are in the education field, from her own children to her great-grandchildren. In 2019, the Stockton Unified School District announced it named a new elementary school in her honor. A group called Little Manila Rising, which are advocates for the Filipino community, held a campaign to make it happen, calling her a trailblazer, breaking through many racial barriers.
Suggestion is Flora Arca Mata School.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. The Filipino community really backed her up. That was really a neat thing to see. So I was happy, but she was a very humble person. She'd go to assemblies and awards and things, and she would just say, "Oh, that's very nice," She said, "But it's another day. You keep moving." And that's what was the thing, she said. So.
Flora never had a chance to see that school and her name on this sign. She passed away at the age of 95 in 2013. Her son said she was always so modest. He doesn't know if she truly realized how much of a difference she made in people's lives. Her job was more than just a job, it was a calling.